so much for staying with us. President Muhammadu Buhari is still in London, where he's resting after taking some time for vacation. He has extended his vacation, however, having written to the National Assembly and properly handing over to the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who has been acting as the President. The presidency says during President Buhari's normal annual checkup, tests showed that he needed a longer period of rest, necessitating the President staying longer than originally planned. In this period, how has his vice, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, fared? Mr. G.T. Ogunye has been talking to us on the program. One will look at it, the legality, the morality of the president being away. He's in London. Some people will say, why not stay in Nigeria to receive the checks that you needed? The economy is not in good shape. That's not a good time to have our president away. But some people will say the health is very important. But what do you make of all this scenario?
First, if things were normal, if we're a normal country, if we've succeeded in putting our acts together, the president of Nigeria ought not to be outside the shores of Nigeria receiving medical attention. Fidel Castro was ill, was frail in health to such an extent that he relinquished power in favor of his brother, Raul Castro. And he never left Cuba for once, a small country of 10 million people. And we can have other examples. The idea that Nigerians should seek medical refuge elsewhere is disconcerting. It establishes, reinforces the fact that our healthcare delivery system is in shambles. And every year we talked about equipping Aso Rock Clinic with billions and billions of naira. So if we were normal people, our president has no business going outside the country to seek medical help. Because it's abnormal. I've always maintained the view that medical knowledge is almost universal now. Nigerians are trained here and they are hired overseas to perform medical feats. So medical knowledge is universal. What is different is medical infrastructure. So if what I said is valid, why then can't you get the best infrastructure in and then ensure that you seek medical help here? Our people too often are dying in India now. It's not necessary. The former Minister of Information, God rest her soul, died in India. I'm talking about Dora Akinyuli. You know, Umbu died overseas. Aluko. Many of them like that. Why should we go to countries with freezing temperature to say that we want to seek medical help? It's abnormal. That's number one. Number two, this president did what the Constitution required him to do when he went overseas. He transmitted to the National Assembly the information that he needed to hand over to the Vice President to enable him to act as President. He did that. That's salutary. However, the information management is zero because we told that the president was going on vacation. How did vacation then extend to medical attention, rest, and things like that? The information management was zero. And so those who advised the president to manage that information that way, why not do him a favor?
But
right from day one, you need transparency.
You see doctors.
You need transparency to say, you know, seeing doctors was a footnote. I'm speaking in a nuanced fashion.
Like if it was going to be major, it should be.
I'm not speaking as a hostile. I'm saying that information management was not too good. You go on vacation, then you see your doctor. It wasn't that, our president is ill, he needed medical help. Stephanie. And now it's extending. So if you just want to do random medical checkup, you need an extended period to stay. You won't have people visiting you. You won't have the leadership of the National Assembly of the country visiting the president to do what? Just because he just wanted to see. So that information management, they have to accept it, was wrong. Thirdly, now that we are in this situation, whether the economy is in dire strait or not, The president has the right to take care of himself. He's not a particularly young man. And Nigerians knew that he's an old man when they voted for him. And he became president. Now that we're here, we have an acting president who has been steering the ship of state, if you ask me very well. Remarkably, in my view. Remarkably, in my view. Because style is important. The statistics that have been rolled out recently by the media, I can't verify because I'm not a statistician, is that in the past couple of days or weeks, vandalization of oil pipelines have reduced by 58% in the Niger Delta. And that, in part, could be attributable to the fact that the vice president has been shuttling, doing a shuttling diplomacy, going to all the states and talking to community leaders, talking to governors, and so on and so forth. I think that the administration should have started that from day one, in spite of the provocation from the Niger Delta, which appeared to be that a proxy war was being waged against the federal government. You know, the federal government had a responsibility, knowing full well that we had a very complicated situation. There was a situation in the northeast. You are not going to open another front in the Niger Delta to fight anybody. Really. All those things about going there to fight, and they should have engaged. It could be frustrating. It could be very provocative. They could have engaged because they know that oil is the linchpin of the Nigerian economy. And that's why we're going to cap in hand to Europe now to borrow, because we are losing millions of dollars every day.
So if you look at...
So that's number three. And I can go on and on and on and on and on.
It shows that there is no vacuum, isn't it? But look at the person of acting president, Osinbajo. Does he portray that man, that the confidence on this administration, despite the economic hardship, that we should probably repose some hope in this administration?
Well, we are not in 2015 talking about reposing hope. We are almost mid-term right now. When you're talking about reposing hope, I will tell you that rather than be reposing hope, you should be praying that hope that has been reposed will not evaporate. That's the issue. It's not about reposing hope right now afresh. And talking about the possibility of evaporation of hope, Mr. Bismarck Rewani mentioned it right now. He said a certain decision this administration ought to have taken a year earlier that they are not taking right now. The CBN, for example, you know, the disalignment between our fiscal policy and our monetary policy. You know, the layers of exchange rate, one for pilgrims, one for those who are seeking medical attention, one for bureau de change. What is wrong with us? You know what Yoruba call kalu-kalu? You know, this betting and all. Do they think that that's what they are doing with the economy? Why not have a uniform exchange rate? And by what they're doing, they are returning Nigeria to the import license era, where you have some people who just sit back, who have access to power, who have access to the CBN, collect rate at the interbank or whatever rate they are calling it, and then go sell it.
Are you disappointed with this administration?
Nigerians are concerned that this administration is not doing what they wish it could do right from day one.
Mr. G.T. Ogunye, many thanks. Always a pleasure having you on the program. Always a pleasure. Yeah. And that's Mr. G.T. Ogunye, legal practitioner here in Lagos, Nigeria. That's our program for tonight. Many thanks for being part of it. On behalf of the team, I'm Shion Kimale. Bye for now.